Good day, everyone. I'm Dr. Vishnu Durga from ActionINVEST Caribbean Inc., and I'm very happy that you're joining me here today. ActionINVEST is a company that is based in Guyana, and we have started off in 2014 to really look at the coaching and training needs of organizations and, of course, people across Guyana. We very rapidly grew over the years and have now added numerous services to our portfolio. Whilst we continue to focus on business coaching, training, consulting, and business development services, we have also determined that there is a significant need for people already in the workforce, especially those seeking to maybe exit the workforce, to receive the type of support that is needed. Because we have understood that there is this need in the market, and we were put in contact with Connections 50 out of Trinidad by Dr. Obade, a previous Vice Chancellor in Guyana, of the University of Guyana. We have been able to test the service, and we're very happy with the level of expertise that's provided, with the ease of use. And I would like to hereby introduce you to Connections 50.
Well, let's start with understanding Connections 5.8G, especially 5.8G.
Yes.
Most people, as we know, after your work life ends at 50, 60, people say retirement. We say no. We say you have a full other adult life to live. Retirement is after 80. So you see that 50 to 80, that's the 5.8G generation. And that's where we have an entirely new life. You know?
Starting new. It's a new you. Especially when you start to work. Your focus is on career. The focus is building career. Then focus on family. Ensuring that you start that family.
Yeah.
Focus on acquiring wealth, assets. Mortgage, making sure so you have car and you have house, and then you move on education. Oh, you have to educate the children. And you have to do, and you keep doing and doing and doing, seeing about everybody else and not yourself. So,
but it's out of love, eh?
Yeah, definitely.
It's out of love.
Definitely out of love.
We look at life in three buckets. We look at ourselves, taking care of our own self. We look at our finances, and we look at our community. And Jennifer, how did we decide we are going to help people to get a baseline?
Right. So to get that baseline, we were thinking you need a start. Many times when you leave the workplace, you don't know what to do, especially if you have been in a company for most of your working life.
What we have done is we have teamed up with three of the best in their game to create customized assessments that really help people to first analyze, who am I? What do I really like? Because sometimes you'll forget, you think you are your work or whatever you did before. Secondly, about money. And thirdly, about your health and well-being. Now, the thing is, what we realize is that you really have three major areas in life that we need to be in control of to have that happy, healthy life in the third act. The three areas are, first of all, you need to understand yourself. You need to sort of detox from what you were at work, because what you did in work is not what you are. So our transition and psychometric assessment, the first assessment, brings you back to your center. Who are you? And Dr. Nika Joseph, an organizational psychologist, is the person who has crafted that for Caribbean people.
Okay.
So you get a good sense of who you are, what your passion is, so that you can be set on your path. The next area is you have to have the wherewithal to live this life, and that's money. And yours truly, Jennifer Gibbons-Joseph, certified life coach and financial coach, is our assessor. And Jennifer, I have to say, you did a fantastic job in developing that assessment to help people think about their relationship with money. And very often, your relationship with money is not how much money you have, It is what you're doing with the money. And the last assessment is so critical, wellness. We think we just get our height and our weight and we go with that. But Maria Elias, dietitian, nutritionist, trainer, physical coach, personal coach, she has crafted the most complete assessment that I have ever encountered that actually takes you down to making you look at what you eat, how you eat, and she actually measures what is missing in your diet and then makes recommendations for you to live a happy and healthy life. You know, so when you get these 3 assessments and we put them all together in a report, you literally have in front of you, this is where I am, this is what I would like to do, and you get advice on how to do that. That's why we say it's a toolkit that gives you your baseline.
Thank you very much, Terri-Ann and Jennifer. Now, as I mentioned earlier, at Action Coach, we're very much focused on raising the level of productivity. And when you think about that, you think about people who are either now joining the workforce, people who are expanding their businesses, people who really want to move up that career ladder.
So
we really
between
want to
10 and 12 years ago, between 10 and 12 years ago, I first started going across in a professional capacity and interacting with primarily business students, persons who now grown into executive positions.
One moment while we get that started out.
As you would know, executives all over the world would know or would have heard this, that whatever doesn't get.
Yes, so as I was saying, you know, we're really focused on making sure that we raise that level of productivity. Companies and individuals are seeking to really add value so that they can really add profits to the bottom line. And at that point in their life, people are really focused on maybe just getting good at what they do, really being able to move up to the next level as within the organization. And they're not really too focused on their passion as yet. You know, I'm really happy when people see at an early age where they are finding their passion, but that doesn't really happen for the majority of us. What also doesn't happen is that in the beginning of our careers, we don't have a lot of financial assets. We don't have any assets built up to that extent that it really allows us to say, okay, great, we can get into real estate, we can invest in a business, we can go and we can buy stocks. That really doesn't exist for us as yet when we are in our 20s, 30s, and sometimes even into our 40s. What also happens is that we're not too concerned yet about our health and fitness, about the nutrition, about the things we eat. When we're young, we think, you know, we can eat almost everything and still be healthy. Whereas as we get older, these are some of the things we really need to consider if we are going to benefit from that window between 50 and 80 to have a really fabulous 50 to 80 and then a really good retirement thereafter. And that is one of the key things that this assessment does. You know, I am 40, and I was very happy to be able to take this assessment myself and to understand, you know, where my passions lie, where my interests lie, and make a good assessment of where I want to continue focusing for the rest of my career. It also allowed me to analyze where I stand with my assets. Do I have a good mix? Are they in the right places that they can continue to generate more wealth for me as I get older? And then nutrition and fitness. I'm sure that the nutrition and fitness fanatics among us will really enjoy that because it really measures what is your level of health and fitness. And coupled with that, you start really understanding what can you do to move ahead. So it's ideally targeted to make sure that people in their 50s can really take stock of where they are. And one such person who is actually is a person who has visited Guyana numerous times. We met through Artilogjac, through the University of the West Indies, is Mr. Michael Gray, and he's actually the one who's going to be providing business support to Connections 50 and the toolkit here in Guyana. So I would like to now, introduce you to Mr. Michael Gray.
So between 10 and 12 years ago, I first started going across in a professional capacity and interacting with primarily business students, persons who have now grown into executive positions.
Yeah.
And as you would know, executives all over the world would know or would have heard this, that whatever doesn't get measured doesn't get managed.
Yes.
So the idea that being in transition now has a much broader application than just retirement,
Yes.
and coasting into your later years in a rocking chair and so on. Nothing wrong with that, but not yet.
If it's your choice.
If it's your choice. And the idea of transition in Guyana, given their overall macroeconomic outlook, presents a wider range of exciting opportunities and potentials that would not have been there 5-10 years ago when we first started going. I think the ability to apply the toolkit in that environment is an exciting, it's exciting for me to see how it will pan out.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
In the Trinidad context, the economic situation is such that transition needs a certain set of things. The idea of transition, when I think of the Guyanese context, is much more exciting and varied than the idea of transition in the Trinidad context. With the new opportunities, the transformation of the economy, the ability to fulfill some of the past ideals and goals that were articulated over the years, presents a whole range or a whole web of ideas that might be overwhelming to a straight-lined career professional now looking to transition in one way or the other. So the toolkit, primarily the first psychometric assessment, will help to really connect experiences and aptitudes with the opportunities out there, helping all of us to become more entrepreneurial. It's not just for a company or for a store in the mall, but becoming entrepreneurial with your own career, with your own abilities. How could you apply these skills in this new environment that is exploding in front of you? And I think the current COVID slowdown is a good opportunity. It worked in the sense of giving everybody a chance to slow down and reflect.
Yes.
It's a great chance to cocoon yourself and, see that butterfly emerge. Allow yourself to emerge as somebody who you never maybe thought yourself you are. A caterpillar looking in a mirror will never see a butterfly. And the toolkit will give you the chance to see that butterfly and then make the steps in an order. There's not a wild sell your house and run out and start a business kind of thing, but in a very structured, measured way in crafting the future.
Thank you very much, Michael. And I'm now joined by both Terri-Ann, Michael, and Jennifer here in the studio. And, guys, it has been quite a bit of planning getting it to this point. As I mentioned before, it was a real experience for me doing all the tests. I'm really big on testing myself to figure out where I am. And I love the analogy that Michael used of, if a caterpillar were to look in the mirror, it will see a caterpillar. It wouldn't see what it could be in the future. And that's part of what these assessments do. Now, welcome. And I'd love for you to share any thoughts as well on how you see this happening in Guyana.
Well, welcome everyone. I am Terri-Ann Joseph-Brathwaite, one of the co-creators of Connections 50 Plus.
And I am Jennifer Gibbons-Joseph, the other co-creator of Connections 50 Plus. Welcome, welcome.
And our Caterpillar.
Yeah, Caterpillar, Michael Gray, happy user and happy to join the team as part of the support for ActionINVEST in Guyana.
Yes, we are very, very excited that Vishnu, that you have invited us to collaborate with you to bring the toolkit to Guyana. We believe that it is going to add tremendous value to people's lives and their paths forward.
Oh, definitely. And we'll be happy to share with you the whole process of the toolkit. Now, having dealt with those that are 50 plus in transition, we have, at the inception, found that this toolkit is an ideal roadmap to take this 50 plus group forward.
Definitely. We have looked at different groups of people, Michael, you're amongst them. And as we talked about Guyana, Guyana is about to go into a different mode. The entire country is transitioning. And Vishnu, we really, really do believe that our partnership will yield quite a lot of value for your existing clients and new clients, because the future is so different, it's so exciting, and it's great to be able to stand in this present time and chart a course and go into the future with a whole lot more certainty. Letting the caterpillar design its butterflies.
Yeah.
Michael, what do you think?
Yeah, as everyone knows and says, the human capital is the greatest resource that a nation has. And the future that Guyana requires will demand of its human capital a particular set of capabilities and confidences that may not have been prominent before. And this toolkit is a great stepping stone to actualizing all the potential and harnessing the leadership capacity of people within the workforce, people now coming into the workforce, to create that future that has been envisaged.
Yes. So Vishnu, welcome on board to Connections, and we are happy to be in Guyana.
Thank you very much. And let's take a quick look at Michael actually and his experience on transitioning.
Yes.
And Nika really helped to create a nice decision-making platform. The reason being is that a lot of those thoughts and issues you would encounter over your life cycle, your career life cycle. Financial decisions, career decisions, you would explore things you're interested in when you had the time. Of course, you had to go and do your checkups every now and again. So the information, while not being totally new, the ability for it to be pulled into one single dashboard was really eye-opening. It saved me a lot of work, I have to say. And it enabled a real discussion as to where you're at now. As was said before, the last 20-something years, you've buried building the institution, building into your students, investing into life, all the stuff that responsible adults do. And now at this stage, you get a chance to take a break. And the chance to reflect and to say, okay, where am I at in life? All things being equal, we have 20, 30 good years ahead of us. That's a lot of time. And you want to spend it in the most fulfilling way that you can, and then navigating the most feasible way to do so, bearing in mind that you have bills to pay and obligations to satisfy. So for me, the intervention of the toolkit at this phase turned out to be really brilliant as a means of helping me think myself into my next phase. You will do assessments before, but you get these online automated responses. You are this, your personality type is that, your preferences are this, or whatever it is. But the way that the debrief is personalized to enable you to make decisions or to consider yourself in a fresh way, I think that personalized feedback is something that really distinguished the experience from other assessment experience that I would have had. Sure, you'd have had your feedback as part of your HR process, your annual reviews and so on, and your occasional assessments. But in terms of it being relevant to your whole life, this is the first time this has ever really happened, or that's the first time I experienced that kind of thing.
Thank you very much, Michael, for giving us that overview. We don't have time for a very brief Q&A, so maybe I'll get kicked off with some of the questions that came through. And I think this one might be more for Jennifer. How long does it take to complete the toolkit and get the report?
The process with the toolkit, after the application and after registration, we send you a letter. The client will receive that letter outlining the process, which is really, they're going to get a link. So you're going to get a link, and the link will direct you to the assessments. After completing the assessments, you have 14 days really in which to complete the assessment. So the assessments go to the different assessors, and within the 14 days, the report will be submitted to Connections. And from that submission, it will take the next maybe within 7 days that you will get a comprehensive report from all 3 assessors. And also, the clients will have that opportunity to arrange a 20-minute meeting, one-on-one, with each assessor to discuss the report, any concerns, and to get me some directives as how they can, utilize the information within the report.
Thank you, and it really allows us to practice some of our delayed gratification techniques, because the testing world has really gotten us used to having these instant reports coming back. But the level of personalization that is added to your reports really goes a level deeper, and it provides that insight. And you did mention a 20-minute one-on-one with the professional that can then really understand where you are and ask you some questions to help you discover some next steps is truly valuable. Now,
and I must have to add, it could be much faster, depending on the time of, the time that client takes. So if they do it quickly within a day or two, of course, the report will be submitted much sooner.
Now, we have been in this accelerated age of technology for the past nearly 9 months, and people have all kinds of concerns about things happening online. So, Terri-Ann, is it actually safe to do this test online?
Absolutely, it is. The thing is, the entire assessment process is housed on CONEC-TIONS' dedicated server. The entire program has been designed and built by our web developer, Jan Michael. So all of our safety protocols are controlled by us. In fact, the integration into ActionINVEST is such that once a user is in the assessment process, all of their information, all of their personal data, their answers remain confidential and accessible only to the assessors. So it is not that everybody has access to their information. Also, the payments portal rests on our platform. And this is a secure Visa portal that links directly into one of our leading commercial banks, it is Citizens Bank. So in terms of the information, your personal information and your assessments, it is on a dedicated server. It's not a shared server. It is controlled by our web developers, and all financial information and tracking is actually on a Visa approved portal that is directly linked to the First Citizens Bank. So we have checked, double checked, and quadruple checked, and the information is safe.
Thank you. Thank you very much for providing that assurance. And, in Guyana for, the past year, it's been one of the most uncertain years. I think the entire world has had to cope with COVID, and which is the first time in 100 years that the world is dealing with such a widespread pandemic. And, now we even have some fresh concerns as well that can raise uncertainty levels a bit. In addition to that, for connections, I know that you serve the Caribbean market, you serve even the US, you have people using the service as well.
Yes.
But Guyana also went through a significant portion of political uncertainty, so that added more to it. We're now an oil-producing country, but then when the prices dropped just after COVID, that also created some more uncertainty. So uncertainty is all around us. Michael, what would you say to people who are thinking, well, all of this sounds good. I wish I knew more about myself. I wish I had more clarity on my path, but things are so uncertain. What would you say to people like that, Michael?
I would say think of an airline, a aircraft pilot, or even someone captaining a sea vessel. When they're away from land or they have no visual references by which to navigate, they have to fly by their instruments, especially if you're flying through bad weather. And those instruments basically are reflecting data back to you by which you can make decisions. This toolkit basically assembles you your own dashboard by which you can make decisions. Without the flying panel, the pilot is just looking around and he's seeing cloud left, cloud right. He doesn't know which way he's going, but the instruments enable him to navigate to the chosen destination. So my recommendation is that in a time of uncertainty, you need to rely on the best data that you can. And the way you can maximize the data that's relevant to you is by taking this toolkit through which you would get feedback, accessible, objective feedback on where you are, who you would like to be. And from there, regardless of the external circumstance, you're able to navigate and be ready for the future. When the pilot emerges from the clouds, he sees the runway in front of him because he has to use his data faithfully. I encourage you to do the same.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And just before this call, we were actually on a CEO roundtable call. And today we're actually dealing with some investment advice by Warren Buffett. And one of his 6 pieces of advice was invest in yourself, not only because it adds value to you and it allows you to really return value to the world, but one of the quips he made was that they can't tax that away from you. They can't take it away from you and they can't tax it away from you. So it was really something that's sunk in as well. It's the true investment in knowledge and in yourself that can continue to pay. And we don't need to see 50 and 60 as the end of our life, the end of our career. There's so much more there, especially now that we have been able to refine so much wisdom over decades that we're able to then package and then present it to those who need it. And even if we do want to retire, we have to make sure that the assets that we're investing in will be able to give us that comfortable retirement, that replacement for the salary that we may have gotten used to. So that's very telling. And another question I had here is, how much will it cost and how do I pay? So I guess I'll take that one. I know that Terri-Ann touched a little bit on the platform, but we are starting with an introductory price. I think it's, if I compare it to what is happening globally, it is very affordable, of $600 US per toolkit assessment, and that covers all 3 of the assessments we've been speaking about, plus the 20-minute debriefs with each one of the professionals. And I can tell you, I have had my debrief with each one of these professionals, and it's well worth it, very well worth it. Now, you can pay, as Terri-Ann mentioned, online, and you have that option. The local cards here will also work. Or you can pay at our office here in Georgetown, in Parade Street, Georgetown, and then we will complete the transaction on your behalf, should you want to really make such a payment by cash or check. So you do have several payment options, and you know what the cost is. And I would say we should not refer to this as a cost, because when you spend money, when you see things as a cost, you don't expect any returns. Please see this as an investment in yourself, because I want you, all of us want you, to get a significant return on this investment in yourself. A lot more clarity in your future, a clear path of what you can do to maximize the benefits in your future. So this is definitely an investment. Now, before I wrap up, if the team would like to present any final closing thoughts, I'll go to Jennifer first. Any closing thoughts?
Closing thoughts? Oh, my closing thoughts. One, I am so happy to represent We Had Connections 50 Plus. As a life transition and financial coach, I really do look forward to helping those in transition, because money plays a very important part in whatever you do. And those in transition, that is your biggest challenge. How do we move forward? How can you utilize that money? So I'm looking forward as part of the team to help you out there in your transition to make sure you are financially stable.
Thank you. Michael?
My encouragement would be is that transition does not have to be a scary word. Just as risk normally has a term of being a connotation of being negative, there's also upside risk. But in normal conversation, of course, we think of risk as a bad thing. I'd be happy to help and to encourage this to be transition as a positive possibility, opening up a whole range of future opportunities, and remove the stigma of being in transition myself.
Very good. And Terri-Ann?
Listen, the only constant is change. And we are going into very different worlds. And our cohort, the 50 plus cohort, we are just so full of experience, of energy, of ideas. The younger generations are going to come onto the stage and do what they will. It's our time now to create our own world, our own stage, using our experience. And it is wonderful, in my view, that at the start of that transition process, we have an opportunity, as Michael said, to build our dashboard and to know exactly where we want to go. So the future is bright, and this is just increasing the wattage of that bulb, that light bulb.
Thank you very much. And even doing the assessment myself at 40, I feel a lot more prepared for retirement now. So
Okay.
that is really something that in our developing market, it's a type of service that does not exist yet. And for the people who are looking at the show now, even if it's live or a recording, and you are in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, it is important for you to understand that if you're looking for opportunities, this developing economy will present a lot. There are a lot of gaps in products and services, and we are very happy to have been able to develop this collaboration with Connections 50. And we believe in collaboration. We believe in partnership. We can't do it all on our own. And the only way we can deliver higher quality services is by collaborating with those who've been doing it before, so that we can all grow together. From a business perspective, should you decide that you really want to say, okay, I'm 50 something, I'm 60, I want to jump into business, we're here to support you from a business coaching and training perspective. That's what we really specialize in. But we're really happy that we're being able to provide this service now to the market here in Guyana. And for those of you looking at us from Suriname, very soon in Suriname as well, to really give you a lot more options in how you proceed. So to everyone joining us, it is a true pleasure bringing this to you, having a launch here. And I would encourage you to reach out. You can message wherever you're seeing this video right now. Just drop us a message or direct message the page. If you need to get on to us at Action Invest, the email to use is info@actioninvest.org. Check out our website, the entire portal. We'll have a separate area for that entire portal as well, so you'll be able to channel through our website. And look forward to this service being rolled out and supporting services to be there as well. Terri-Ann, Jennifer, Michael, we appreciate the collaboration, and we look forward to really rolling this out to Guyana and then further afield. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.